to all the dispossessed youth of Africa, for perpetuation of communion with ancestral spirits through the fight for African freedom, and in the firm faith that the dead, the living, and the unborn will unite to build the destroyed shrines. Selah. Hello and welcome, beloveds, to the Dr. Mumbi Spiritual Show. My name is Dr. Mumbi Saraki. How you doing? How's everything going? I really do pray that you are well in all your ways and that you're moving into living life truly on your own times. This is a segment called Ask Dr. Mumbi, where you can email me on drmumbi@drmumbishow.com. Hey, Dr. Mumbi at drmumbishow.com. Our email was actually hacked. I mean, for the first time in a very long time. Long story. But so we haven't been getting a lot of emails. Our emails, have been going to spam, but we are slowly rectifying that. We had some spammers as well in our inbox. So, but you can always email me there or mumbi.saraki@gmail.com. Although we know Google stories for other days. Beloveds, I really just, I've been getting a lot of emails, people asking, how much time do we have? And I would say no time at all, but on a serious note, because there's a lot of people who know that they need to make certain moves, who know that they need to, they've taken a certain decision, they're not going to bow to the New World Order, and that decision has consequences. And, the only way that you will be able to stick by your decision, beloveds, is if you are prepared and you're out of the way of the total collapse of Babylon, because we're seeing Babylon collapse. And one of the things that, and I'll do a separate show on this, is the logistics. You see, they made the whole world interdependent and so interconnected. They literally created a web where, the Chinese were feeding the Americans were clothing whoever, it's just like everyone was interdependent. But most countries are not fully food sufficient. And that's why they find themselves, held at ransom by this New World Order technocracy. That's what some people are calling it, that is literally trying to take over the world while smiling at us and jiving away. But you're running out of time, beloveds. I don't know if you can feel it. And there was a comment actually from one of my Patreon family. Gosh, I wish I could remember his name right now. And he was talking about how he felt people would have until March to get out of Babylon without having to take the mark of the beast. And some say you have until December. We've seen that November seems to be a very significant month. But you're running out of time in terms of, not even in terms of your relocation, if you're going to move, although I highly advise you to move out of the cities, beloveds, highly, at the very least. And it's so amazing how many people have contacted me telling me they've moved, even in Australia, like to some far distant remote village, all over the place. People are really moving, and I love that you're heeding the message of me and many others who are saying the same thing, because we're all tapping into the same consciousness that is literally, penetrating this sphere and battling it out in the physical for the souls of man. I know, heavy stuff. So you're running out of time in terms of preparing, beloveds. I talked about empty shelves. Empty shelves hit the divided states. They were seen in Wales, but now they've hit the divided kingdom. Here in Kenya, the price of fuel just went up by, almost 20 shillings, which is a lot. So everything has increased in price. People were going to demonstrate, and then, no one really came out onto the streets. But that's what's going to happen. There's going to be a massive inflation. Babylon is going to make it very hard for you to exist within the system. And this isn't for the people who have taken the double mac. I mean, if you've eaten the double mac and you're good, all the best. But for us who want to remain vegetarian, and I'm speaking in code right now, then really our time is running out in terms of preparing ourselves. Because now we're hearing that in the divided kingdom, the logistical network is actually breaking down. And, a lot of truckies aren't coming to, have left, etc., etc. We're seeing in the divided states, schools don't have enough lunchtime food. The things I said used to say about Africa, beloveds. We don't have food to feed our children over lunch and etc. It's happening in the divided states right now. Empty shelves, panic buying, all these things are unraveling. So you really don't have much time. And you need to be preparing yourself. And there are great preparation channels. If you can't leave the city, then check out this guy called, I think, City Prepper. Because there's a totally different way that you prepare in the city than you prepare outside of the city. Think about your security, especially my beloved sisters. Our womb is such a target right now. I mean, if you have to stay in the cities, at least have a place where if sugar really hit the fan, you could go and kind of hide out for a while. If you look at the divided states, I think they were even closing a lot of the national parks and campsites. So be wise, beloveds. Another thing is, actually, let's take a short break. When we come back, I'm going to get into how you can prepare at such a time as this, what you need to be doing. Maybe I'll stick to 5 things you should be doing right now. We'll be right back.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, Africa.
Welcome back, beloveds, to Ask Dr. Mumbi. My name is Dr. Mumbi Seraki. So how much time do you have? I don't mean to panic you. I don't mean to, make you paralyze you because of fear. Absolutely not. You have just enough time to do what you need to do. Because as I was telling you, Spirit bends time for those who are moving. That's what they call miracles. You're able to bend time just with your own faith and belief that you have enough time. But if you're still sitting around and thinking this is not happening, you really need to go, even just type on YouTube or on Google, empty shelves in Britain, empty shelves in Australia, empty shelves in the divided states. This is mainly happening to, like, they're crumbling their 7 pillars. I always talk about the 7 pillars: the economy, religion. Now I think you can't mention praying for the double Mac. Those are the new rules of Google. The social, the healthcare, and the police, all of that, the army, the whole system, the government, the media, the entertainment, which are the most dangerous, beloveds. And education. Even education is changing now. And so to escape their agenda and where their world is going, because war is coming to Babylon, destruction is coming to Babylon, it's so clear. You have to move out of the way of Babylon, beloveds. You have to literally move as off-grid as possible. And one of the things that I was listening to, is how us as a, and it's hard to say this because there's no family I would want to live with. But if you're close with family, beloveds, because a lot of people contact me and say that they don't have the money to move to the countryside, etc., etc. But you see, sometimes we're close with family, but we'd never live together. But if each of you, if your mom is renting a place, you're renting a place, your 3 siblings are renting a place with their families, you could literally pool that money together, or you all have mortgages. You could pool that money together and get a farm with several houses on it and live there and do off-grid like that. Remember to move in silence and just do you, because there are some there's no family member I could live with. So I'm really giving that advice to those who are lucky enough to be close to their family. Some of us are orphans, beloveds, and we're good with that. You move faster alone, but you go further with people around you. But I believe for us who are moving fast to establish what we need to establish for the next chapter, we will still go further because we'll meet our soul family along the way. So what you should be doing, beloveds, still stocking up on food, stocking up on water, stock up on fuel. Like, I just bought a few cans, like these metal cans. I think I got 20, and I'm going to just fill them with diesel and fuel. Look into solar energy panels. I also, it's so important to get the necessary things the high budget items that you may not be able to get when sugar hits the fan and when inflation comes, because it will just be ridiculously expensive. So invest in like a solar panel station, the little ones. I literally just ordered mine because they don't have them here. And that can literally power your house without your fridge or, those major things. I hope you guys don't have microwaves still. But without those, and TVs, like if you don't have those, it can power your house, that little thing. Stock up, get the things like water purifiers. As I always say, get your camping gear. But get food, beloveds. And try and warn family members, because if you've stocked up and they haven't, then guess whose house they're going to be coming to when sugar hits the fan. And that's why I also say it's not selfish to move in silence in this season, beloveds. In fact, it's almost critical, because people have had time to prepare. People have had time to make their choices. And when some of us were preparing, others were laughing and still partying it down and enjoying life. It literally is every man for himself. Because you see, us who have been preparing physically, it's not just been about the physical preparation, but in making those changes physically, it's like emotionally, psychologically, and on a soul level, we've come to accept that those changes are coming. So when you're stocking up on food, when you're going to get extra fuel, you're ready, even spiritually and psychologically, you're growing that muscle for what comes next. Because some people contact me and they say, yeah, but you say prepare, but how much food? At least a month, if you can, 3 months. 6 months would be better. A year would be really good. And then what you do is now, once you've bought that much food, you now start eating the oldest one. If you don't have an income, if you're literally living check to check, hand to mouth, then every time you go to the supermarket, pick up an extra thing. Because you see, beloveds, and I say this, but most people just don't believe it or they don't see it. But the preparation is not so much physical as it is mental and spiritual. But they've put us so much in the physical, beloveds, that if the physical starts breaking down, many people will break down mentally and spiritually. They just won't be able to handle it. And you see, the war that was in the heavenlies is coming down here. And the people who are ruling here are not just going to let this planet, let our home go just like that. And I feel like there's like a global mental virus, beloveds, among low vibrational beings. And maybe I'll even do a separate show on that. Of this anger, and like, they're almost becoming like the zombie demons, seriously. And people's true colors are coming out. But it doesn't matter about people. What matters is you. And recognizing that you're running out of time. So, the more time you take, beloveds, the more expensive it gets. So if you're planning to return to Africa next year, your ticket will be double to what it would have been if you traveled within the next month or so. But please, beloveds, don't be caught flat-footed. Don't be caught unprepared. Move in silence and keep your preparation movements and pantries to yourself. Like someone was asking me to show them my storeroom of stuff. We don't do that. And you shouldn't either, because it could put you at risk. Talk less about your preparation plans. I told you, beloveds, people have made their choices. Unless someone genuinely comes wanting information from you, then you're wasting your time if you're entering any kind of debate or anything like that. Time that you could be using to secure you and your family. And if you're in Babylon, you're going to need to get your spiritual and physical defenses up, beloveds. You're going to need to get your self-defense tools and learn how to use them. I mean, these are the things that I'm saying you're almost running out of time. You have to act now while you can still afford it, while it's still available, while your country is not locked down, while you still have some semblance of movement, especially if you've taken a choice. If you've taken a certain choice, everything will be done to make you overturn that choice. And so you need to be extra prepared. We're going to make it, beloveds. We've already made it. We've already made it. Like we're so close to a tipping point that will change everything. But before that tipping point comes, there's so much that must fall away. So many ignorant people that will just fall with the system. So prepare your minds and your hearts. Prepare the minds and hearts of your children for what is coming, beloveds. And stand firm. Tuko pamoja.